So our lead this hour is from Pro Bouncy Ball. We go to the Hoosier State, and we ask the question, who's your daddy? Well, if it's the Knicks, right now it's the Indiana Pacers. That's who's your daddy right now. As the Pacers, they're that close. They can feel it at this point. After a dud the other night, Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers looking to bounce back, get it done, as they hosted Jalen Brunson and the Knickerbockers there in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I assume you were watching. Maybe not. Maybe you did something else. You were sleeping. I don't know what you were doing. I have no idea. I'm not stalking you. But don't worry. We watched, and it was a pleasure. I didn't have to hit the mute button once. No Doris Burke. I just got to watch a game without having to mute it. Thank God. Hallelujah. Man, I'm gonna miss TNT. Gonna miss it. Maybe one more game for TNT and this crap broadcasting, at least part of it. Anyway, Tyrese Halliburton did a little bit of this, a lot of that, and some of that, and ended up with 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, without a turnover. And that performance, putting the Pacers on his back there, and they zoom past the Knicks. They win 130-121 the final there. 3-1 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. Halliburton, the first player with such a stat line, more on that later in the hour, as he gets it done there, and the first player in the modern era, since they first tracked these statistics, to have that line. Game 5 will be Thursday in New York. We will not be on that night because we'll be doing the Maller meet and greet in Vancouver that night. But we'll be watching. I assume we'll watch the end of it from the bar we'll be at there in Vancouver, having a great time. Anyway, let us discuss what just happened in game number 4. And the better story is in the losing locker room, so that is where we'll begin this Maller monologue. Who is the guilty party? Who is the guilty party for Tom Thibodeau and the Knickerbockers, who lose this game and did not have a single lead in the second half? They trailed the entire second half of that game. So I've got Mousetrap, Media Machine, and mini bottles of rum. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a dirty water dog. Because the Knicks, now they're not just the dirty water. They're the dog in the dirty water as well. Hoo-wee. All right, so let's get right to the heart of the matter. You see what I did there? The heart of the matter. Now, he's a secondary actor, but he played a key role in the demise of the film. That would be Josh Hart, who's a bit of a fringe NBA player. He's really not that good. He's just kind of a roster guy. Not great, not terrible. He's just kind of there. He's played a long time in the NBA. Nobody's going to accuse him of being a good player. But he was bad. He was an evildoer for the Knicks in this particular game. In fact, he was the Duke of Puke. A lot of it in the second quarter. The game turned in the second quarter here. It flipped, and if you look at the surveillance tape from the crime scene, you can see that Josh Hart left a smoking gun at the crime scene. There was a biohazard on the court there as Indiana had set up a mousetrap. They set up a mousetrap, and Hart bit the cheese. You're not supposed to bite the cheese. He bit the cheese there, committed 5 turnovers, 4 of them in the first half of the game, and the Pacers got out, were able to move the ball down the court, matriculate the ball down the court in transition, and they capitalized on almost all of those mistakes by Josh Hart. They turned those 5 turnovers directly into 8 points on the other end. So that's not good. They said, well, it's only 8 points. Okay, Hart also fouled out of the game, and the Pacers scored 9 points either as a result or directly after those fouls. 9 points. Now, as a team, the Knicks finished with 17 turnovers. 17 turnovers, and I can give you all kinds of numbers. Indiana outscored New York by 11 in that game, and they had 13 more points on the fast break. And you can break it down point by point here. Now, the other villains for New York, you could say, well, Mitchell Robinson, but he's kind of just a big lugging, plotting player. And then Mikal Bridges, who they traded 17,000 draft picks to get. He sucked. Miles McBride, who's a backup Good name, though. Doesn't Miles McBride sound like a fake Hollywood name, some kind of superhero? Miles McBride to save the day. Not on this game. Did not save the day. All right, now, page 2. So Indiana wins the game, and the story is all about someone's dad. What? John Halliburton returned to watch his kid there. He had been forced, boy, we talk about the hardship, forced to watch the previous 8 Indiana Pacer postseason games from somewhere else as he got into it on the court with the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo in one of the great moments, scripted reality there of the NBA, following the last-second shot to eliminate Milwaukee previously in the postseason. Got right there. So this has become a big talking point in the NBA media. So I'm going to play the game, thumbs up or thumbs down. So thumbs up or thumbs down on the narrative that Tyrese Halliburton's father inspired this victory. Because I'm getting a lot of that. I'm getting a lot of that this win was because of John Halliburton sitting at the very top there. Well, not the very top. He's in the box there. So thumbs up or thumbs down on Tyrese Halliburton's father inspiring the Pacers win. So I will not be Benny Brightside on this. I am going thumbs down. A strong, powerful thumbs down on this. So let me get this straight. So we're supposed to believe that the reason that Tyrese played well was because his daddy was at the arena, and that's what pushed the Pacers over the top. Are you bleeping kidding me? Seriously, is this the latest Disney fairy tale being peddled by the NBA media machine that works overtime, the PR machine? Oh, everything's got to be a Disney-type story. And let's all calm down. Take a breath, okay? Take a breath. Calm down. It's not a Hollywood movie. Now, listen, I'm happy the dad was back. We had said it was kind of ridiculous. Let him back. I would have put him at the top of the arena. I wouldn't put him in the luxury box. I would have put John Halliburton at the very top of the arena. I'm not saying it wasn't nice to have him back. That's fine. I'm not a total curmudgeon. However, I mean, to think that somehow he's sitting in a luxury box, the dad, and that's why the kid plays well here. It's a classic overreaction. I got a good story. I went to Sports Writing 101 back in the day, and I got to justify that. I learned this like the second day of Sports Writing 101. You gotta bring the family into the narrative. You gotta bring the dad or the mom in there and the kids, and oh man, that'll sell. That'll play in Peoria. Okay, all right. So the way I look at it, what do I know? I'm just doing the overnight show. But the way I look at it, he had a bounce back game, and of course now they're writing all these think pieces about, oh man, there's some kind of spiritual connection with the dad and all that stuff. But maybe, just maybe. I know this is outrageous what I'm about to say. It's an unpopular opinion, but maybe Tyrese Halliburton realized, well, he didn't play that well in the last game. So, I don't know. He watched him tape. He practiced. Maybe he shot a few more baskets. I don't know. Some of that, made some adjustments, played better. But no, it's got to be the dad. It's got to be the dad. That's why. Has nothing to do with the practice, the extra shots, watching the film, whatever, finding out what the Knicks were doing and how to attack that. No. Yeah, okay. And the Pacers were at home, and so some of these other scrubs on the Pacers, the role players usually play better at home, so we had some of that. That happened as well. All right, now, the last word here. So what do the Jalen Brunson New York Knicks, what do they do here to get back in this series? What do they do? They're down 3-1. Down 3-1. So what do they do here to get back in the series? And there are a couple things here. I have 2 words that I jotted down on my notes app on my phone. Divine intervention. That would be my first option. So the Knicks need to get together a rabbi, a priest, a miracle healer that can bring them all together, a medical medium, get them to have a huddle, a shaman, and 1 or 2 witches, and bring them all together there. They can huddle up and call an audible here. And if that doesn't work, they need to get a time machine, and they got to go back and get Serrano, a great character in a movie called Major League, and they can build a shrine in the Knicks locker room, and they can have 2 Jobu statues and then a couple mini bottles of rum, and that will inspire them to come back in this series. Listen, the Knicks are cooked. In fact, they're cooked the way I like my steak. Well done. Okay, charcoal. That's how cooked they are at this point. Stick a fork in them. Do whatever you want, whatever cliche you want to throw out there for the Knicks. This is the team that the New York media machine was hyping up, the greatest Knick team since Walt Clyde Frazier, the year of the Knick. Everything had opened up, the parting of the Red Sea, or in this case, the parting of the East River. It was all ready. The Knicks playing a tomato can Pacer team, and then they had Minnesota or OKC in the finals. Championship. Then they had to play the games. Now, the good news, and it is a positive here, at least the Knick fan got to experience the joy of a championship, because I'm pretty sure they had a ticker tape parade in the Canyon of Heroes after New York beat Boston in the previous round. I know there was mayhem in Manhattan, throwing trash at Pacer fans, the classy Knickerbocker supporters there. So they got to celebrate a championship, so congratulations. Normally, you have to actually win to celebrate. The Knicks did not. They will not. But, hey, they got to celebrate what it was like to win a championship. That's kind of cool that you don't actually have to win the championship to have a celebration. And while we like Jalen Brunson, we're not here to trash Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, who played, well, good stats again. Tyrese Halliburton ate your lunch, okay? Or I guess your dinner, because the game was played at night here. But Halliburton, 15 assists, no turnovers. The Knicks, as a team, had 17 assists as a team and 17 turnovers. So it's not that deep. It's an Occam's razor situation. The simplest answer is most likely the right answer. And don't even get me started on, like, Obi Toppin, who's not a key player for the Pacers, but is a former Knick who they gave away in some transaction a couple years back, and now he is dancing on your grave with a couple of baskets late in games that were key baskets in this series. Obi Toppin, adding some salt to the wound. Now, if you want to get technical, and why not? We have plenty of time. If you would like to get technical, the move here, and the move is rather simple. The move is that you need a couple of twisted ankles. If you're the Knicks, you know, Halliburton, and you start with that. You know, something would happen. We don't want anyone to get hurt, but if something were to happen to Halliburton, he got hurt, that would be interesting. Pascal Siakam, boy, if he got hurt, that would really change things. And so you've got those two things. And then if the NBA decides they need a Game 6 and we find out the extender Scott Foster's in there for Game 5, that helps you out. Scott Foster's got a really good winning percentage for the team that's trailing in a series. So you bring Scott Foster, and that'll get you a game. And then you have a twisted ankle. That'll get you another game. And then all of a sudden it's a Game 7. And you're alive. All right? Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't believe that's going to happen. I mean, we are headed towards tape delay NBA Finals territory with Oklahoma City and Indiana. And if you are someone that enjoys the agony of big corporations having to deal with crap, that is, man alive. Good luck. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, listen, advice to Jalen Brunson and Tom Thibodeau. You might want to start writing your talking point memo on the "we'll get back next year" speeches. What you do is you start out with a compliment. You say the Pacers played very well. They deserve to win. And then you say, well, if a few things had been different, we would have won. And you talk about how much you love the team and how much you love the fans and how much you believe the team's going to be right there and you're going to bounce back. You're going to win. I mean, the whole thing. We know it's going to happen. It happens all the time. When you lose, that's what you do.